Hello viewers, this is Revealing Light Tarot. I'm going to do some readers' questions tonight, but I'm going to focus initially on the Georgia state election, which voters will go to the polls on the 6th of November. We've got the Democratic candidate Stacey Abrams and we've got the Republican Brian Kemp. When I opened up to this reading, I got, lots of hands going up in the air as though, it represented the votes. So there's a lot of, to me, there's a lot of issues around voting and voter suppression, and those issues, those issues are being brought to bear on this election. People are feeling really, really rolled up that voters would be suppressed. The polls might not be opened or might be closed in certain districts. There's a lot of chaos, and I guess what's riding upon this is the Republicans' brute power that we saw a little bit of with the Kavanagh nomination, driving things forward. And the lesson in the Kavanagh nomination was that we shouldn't underestimate that brute force, that brute power that puts aside transparency and proper processes and and just pushes things through anyway in order to keep and retain power. But then on the other side of things, we've got the Democrats throwing everything at this election too, because it's an ideological war almost. As I said, that Stacey Abrams, should she win, would be the first African American female governor of Georgia. So that the Democrats are looking to inspire their base. This is like big picture thinking. If Stacey Abrams was to take this election, that would be huge inspiration for the rest of America and indeed for the rest of the world. And believe the world is looking. And the rest of America is looking as well. So let's have a closer look. What do we need to know about the Georgia governor's race and who will be the likely victor? Polls neck and neck at the moment, but can we look into the future and have a look at who may be successful and what do we need to know about this election? Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, we've got the balancing forces at the moment. So juggling choices. People are very much deciding. The voters are deciding at the moment who they will vote for, and that will mean that the next month will be very, very critical for both parties. And here's this Ace of Wands, this inspiration that I was talking about. That's coming from the Democrats see this as if they were to win this would be huge inspiration for the whole of the country, for their base and the whole of the country. But in the future we're pulling the two of wands, and the two of wands is like waiting for results. So it could be that it is so close that there may be a recount. That's what the cards are showing at the moment. We can pull some clarifying cards and deepen the reading a bit, but let's just have a look at those key themes. So the Democrats are seeing this as a big picture election, a real ideological war, and if they want to leave a legacy, this election would leave a legacy. And that legacy is very much around Stacey Abrams. Where are the voters' minds and hearts at the moment? On both sides, there's this equal juggling. So the Republicans are being galvanised by the typical issues you would think that would galvanise Republicans, and the Democrats are again being galvanised and mobilised by these issues around voter suppression, and indeed the women, this whole issue that Kavanagh raised regarding women and disempowering women. So, you've got lots of mobilisation coming from the Democrats, and particularly from the African American vote. That is going to be extremely important. I think that's why Abrams and Kemp are, it's line ball at the moment. So voters on both sides are still deciding. That's where it's at the moment. There's no clear victor there, and it's this is the card of waiting for results. This is suggesting to me that it'll be so close that there might even need to be a recount. So let's just we'll keep going. So what is the I guess the challenge for Abrams at the moment, and that's the two, and Kemp indeed, the two of swords. And this is coming up, this card's coming up all the time in relation to politics in the US at the moment, and whenever there's a contest between Democrats and Republicans, and like this is like the balancing opposing forces, and it's also like having to make a decision. So this is telling me that while voters might be very much juggling and sort of undecided at the moment, those voters that would influence this election, they're going to have to make decisions, and this is the card of compromise. So it could be that the independents, even though they're not totally with Stacey Abrams, may actually go, well, the issues are so important that in this instance, in this election, we're going to throw our vote toward the Democrats. So that could be what challenges the Republicans, that the independent voters might lend or tend toward a Democrat vote. And the Wheel of Fortune, the potential is that this, because we're looking at the sitting Republican, or this could be, the potential is that it could go in the Democrats' favour. So what we've got there at the moment is that it will be very close, but there is the potential, because of the issues that are at stake at the moment. And if there's any more that comes out, any more scandals or any, this could actually be advantageous to Abrams. By the same token, there, if anything comes out about the Democrats, it would, it's so close that it might tip the balance in toward the Republicans. But I don't know how much. There's quite a high disapproval rating for Donald Trump's presidency. So you might see Brian Kemp maybe play that down in the coming weeks. We'll wait and see. It's very line ball, and neither candidate can afford to take a wrong step. So we'll just deepen that, particularly that last card, that Two of Rods, which is indicating that there will be a waiting for results. So in terms of the Democrats, and look, we've got this Two of Swords here, this being in a, compromised, and I think that in terms of the Democratic vision, it's an uphill battle for them at the moment. It really is. I think against this brute raw power of the Republicans, and the Queen of Pentacles is, while this is a resourceful person, it can also, it can also mean that if the work isn't put in by the Democrats, if the hard work, really, they've got to really, really keep going and keep going hard with this, because if they take their eye off the ball in any way, it's so close that could be quite detrimental to them. And in the future, we've got waiting for results, we've got the star, which is hope. Okay, so it's hopeful that Abrams will come out of that line ball contest a winner. Yeah. And again, this is sort of like turning the balance of favour, perhaps Abrams' way. And in terms of this, what's forcing the compromise, it's the truth. It's the truth. Now, it could mean that the Republicans, in terms of the voter suppression, this could actually become it might come forward in the coming weeks now and be a real issue for the Republicans. And we've got the Ten of Pentacles, which, the Wheel of Fortune. And the Ten of Pentacles is, again, leaving this legacy and this legacy of work and, building for the future. So the Wheel of Fortune could very well turn against the Republicans. Because the Democrats, and the way I'm reading that card is because the Democrats are very concerned about leaving a legacy, and this is the Wheel of Fortune turning. The Republicans are the sitting party at the moment, so the Wheel of Fortune could very well turn against them, this legacy, this whole legacy for the people. May very well, is a potential outcome. So just in summarising that reading, it would appear to me that the Georgia governor's race may very well come down to a recount. It would be very, very close. But it is hopeful on the Democrats' side. That the wheel will turn in the Democrats' favour. So that's the Georgia race, a lot riding on it, but people are very much at the moment still deciding. And the Democrats can't really afford to take their eye off. They really need to throw everything at this right up until the election. And the issues for the Republicans will be I think it's looking to me like voter suppression. Because there's the Ace of Swords, which is the truth, coming out. So anyway, that's Georgia, and that's Revealing Lights Tarot's take on the Georgia governor race. Thank you.